Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zanker and I'm your host. And today I'm excited to talk about something that is very important, which is our fitness and the principles behind making our fitness help us to be successful in life. And Dave Sherwin is with us today, and he's the certified fitness nutrition coach, which I like that there's both, right? It's not just fitness or not just nutrition, it's fitness and nutrition. And he's an entrepreneur himself, and he'll share about some of that. And he's a practitioner of mindfulness and meditation. He's passionate about helping grownups. I don't know about that. It must leave me out, but grownups navigate the real world of business life and the challenges to achieve the best health and wellness at any age. He's the creator and host of the Derobi Health Show, which covers everything to do with health and wellness, including the latest in nutrition, exercise, supplements, and clinical studies. Awesome. I'm super excited to have you here, Dave. Welcome.
I'm honored that you would invite me. Thank you so much.
Well, I love to have great people who have different perspectives to share and really open people's eyes, create that heightened awareness for what's going to make a difference for us to show up at our best. When I talk about productivity, it's not just about doing more, it's about living more fulfilling lives, right? And doing the things that are most important and not getting caught up in all the nitty gritty. I'm interested, what's your definition of productivity?
My definition of productivity has changed over the years to where I had an epiphany at an event in Atlanta. I went to this event and it was for e-commerce sellers. You had to do over $1 million of sales in a year. And I was like the small fry in the room. There was people doing massive amounts of business. And so it was really fun to network with people like that. But you had to show that you had reached a certain level of sales. And there was a productivity speaker on the stage. So here we are sitting with all these very successful people. And he says, how many of you are totally productive for 10 hours a day? Not one hand goes up. Now there's 300 people in the room.
Okay. You know what? I'm surprised that people admitted that, because a lot of times we think we're productive when we're really not. But anyway, I'll shut my mouth.
It gets better. He says, okay, the United States workday is 8 hours. How many of you are totally productive for 8? 0 hands. I kid you not. 0 out of 300.
Yeah.
Bottom line, cut to the chase. When he got to 2 hours, the majority of hands were up in the room. And he said, so why are you working around that? What are those 2 hours? For some people, like for Winston Churchill, the English parliamentarian, he said that his best hours of the day were from midnight till 2 a.m. That's very odd. But for other people, it's in the morning. For some, it's in the afternoon. And that was a real epiphany for me. And that, a corollary to Tim Ferriss' 4-hour workweek principle of there's only 1 to 2 really great things that you need to do today to really be productive in your business.
Right.
Between those two things, I find that if I get my 1 to 2, mission critical objectives done in a day, I consider myself productive.
Yeah. Awesome.
And I try to do them during my best 2 hours, which is always in the morning.
Right. And we need to know when that is, right? We are all different. Yeah. Try to stick ourselves in the same box as everybody else, but we all have different rhythms. Some people are night people, some people are morning people, and we have to know who we are when we do different activities. What's the best time for those activities?
Yes, absolutely. For example, there are proactive activities like what I mentioned that are mission critical, you get them done. So while you're getting them done, you shouldn't be checking your email or multitasking in any way, shape, or form, right? And so the one thing that I've learned over the years is that when I'm doing those 1 to 2 very important tasks, it is in isolation and total focus. No one can access me. And then there's reactive tasks like checking email. Now, first thing in the morning, I scan my email just to make sure there's not an important fire to be put out. And the minute I decide there's nothing I got to take care of, I leave it alone. In the afternoon is my kind of dead time. I'm just not as sharp. I'm not as productive. Right. So I sit there and I scan my email box and I get it down to inbox 0. So that's how it works for me. And that little routine works well. Proactive stuff in the morning, reactive stuff in the afternoon.
Awesome. Well, really, we want to talk about today. Obviously, you can share some of your entrepreneurial experiences, and those are great tips for people in terms of how to win their day. I'm interested in the correlation between our fitness and nutrition and how that relates to productivity and how we can up our productivity when we're getting results in those areas.
Absolutely. Now, there's a really great segue from what we just talked about right into the fitness world, because we live on 24-hour cycles for the most part, right? Like each day is a new beginning, and we have a physical 24-hour period. Men and women each have a cycle, right? For men, it's more 24 hours. For women, it's more 28 to 31 days. But we have these cycles, these natural life cycles in our health and our fitness, where our hormones are changing, our blood sugar is going up and down, and our HGH, testosterone, estrogen, all of those things are happening. Melatonin in the evening to make us drowsy. On my website, if you go to dirobi.com, DIROBI, there's a resources page, and we won't have time to go into all the nitty gritty of this, but today I hope to give you a really good chunk of it. But there's a free resource. You don't even have to enter your email or anything. Just download it. It's called The Virtuous Cycle. And for entrepreneurs and business people, I think it's even more important than for many other people who have more set schedules. So The Virtuous Cycle gives you a visual. It's a PDF you can print and put on your fridge. And it shows you in a 24-hour period kind of what's happening in your body and some things that you can do to be at your best and your most productive. So I'd actually like to start at 6 p.m. Okay. So let's say at 6 p.m. at night, you stop eating, which is what we recommend. Okay. You've probably heard of intermittent fasting, right?
Yes.
Okay. Intermittent fasting is not a joke and it's not a fad. The science on it is so solid now. There's been so many studies done. There's been studies done on unhealthy people, on healthy people, on old people, young people, athletes, non-athletes. Every study has been done, and it's been verified that we do our best when we eat within an eating window. As a matter of fact, when we start munching and having snacks in the evening, we're really working against our own circadian rhythms. So by stopping eating after dinner, okay, whatever time that is for you, 6, maybe 7, try to make 7 o'clock the last hour. I try to do 6 o'clock. Again, like you mentioned, everyone's different.
Right.
But try to have a hard stop at 7, the best that you can. And don't eat another thing. Drink water, but don't eat anything.
And so for how long? Some people don't know what intermittent fasting is. So I'd like you
Very good.
We don't know who's online here.
Yeah.
So give us a quick understanding of what that is and how long you have to go without food in order to have that benefit of the fasting period and what that does.
Yeah. So 12 to 16 hours of fasting, I say it with the air quotes because we're sleeping through a lot of it, right? It's just not that hard. And so if you cut off at 6 p.m. and you have breakfast at 10 a.m. the next morning, that's a wonderful window. 10 till 6 is 8 hours of an eating window. Okay. And that is actually fairly easy for most people. I didn't think it would be for me. I started this too. It might be 3 years ago now. I'm not sure, but I'm the type of person that wakes up hungry normally. And so it actually took me a few months to train myself, and I'd find myself quite hungry at 8 o'clock, but then I found it didn't kick until 9 o'clock. And then finally I was able to easily now hold off eating till 10 a.m. and cut off eating at 6 p.m. As a matter of fact, you start to feel so good so quickly that your body adjusts to that type of schedule.
Why is this good for our body?
Okay. So in the 24-hour virtuous cycle, what's happening is now your body gets to digest all the food before you go to bed. Meantime, the melatonin is rising, the hormone that helps us feel drowsy so that we can sleep better. So by the time
we would sleep better because we're not busy digesting.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
We are sabotaging our sleep every time we eat after 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It takes a lot of energy from our body to digest food. The two biggest processes in our body is running our brain and running our digestive system. And think about this, business people. When you're giving your sleep the chance to replenish your brain and get rid of pathogens, carcinogens, and toxins from your body instead of digesting the food, which is adding new toxins, carcinogens, and pathogens, right? So
that's why they build up, I'm guessing, right? So I'm going to make some.
That's right.
So they build up because we don't give our body a chance to release them.
That's exactly right. And so we're giving our body the 16-hour window to cleanse itself. Again, we can drink lots of water during that time. I have like a pre-workout drink. That's not a big deal. There's some people that get real purist about this. I don't. If you really get hungry, you could have up to 50 calories of something healthy, maybe a small piece of fruit or something. But I got to tell you, I've been doing this now with a lot of people. I haven't run into anyone who hasn't given it a good college try for 90 days who doesn't find it fairly easy to do. And it's so healthy for you. Now you wake up in the morning. So let's go to the next morning. You wake up in the morning, your mind is sharp. You feel good. You're ready to conquer the day. Your HGH, testosterone, and estrogen is all up, right? And those are good things. That's what we want. That's when we're in our best state for exercise and for important work. This is the time of morning where, for me, I meditate. If you're a meditator, if you're a spiritual person that prays, whatever type of spiritual practice you have, that's a great time to do it, right? And then planning your day. I think you plan your day and work things out better first thing in the morning than at night. Again, that's a personal thing, but
as long as you do it ahead of time, right? That you don't start and then kind of just plan as you go, because that is less effective.
Yeah. What I do is I check my schedule for the next day the night before, but I don't spend a lot of time on it. Then the next morning when I get up, I do my meditation and then I sit and I take my daily plan. Now I add in all the flesh on the bones. Like, okay, I'm doing this podcast at 1:00. So I've got to prepare. I got to find out, what did the host ask me to talk about exactly? And all those little things, right?
Right.
So that I'm prepared for what's coming up. Then exercise. It's a great time to exercise. I realize, back to the circadian thing, there's some people that prefer to exercise at night, but the fact is, for those of you listening, if you have to, I get it. If you work in, you're a first responder or something like that, do whatever you can, of course. But if you're making a choice to exercise at night, if you can change that and train yourself to do it in the morning, because you are messing up your hormones. And the fact is, your hormones are prepared to really give you a good workout first thing in the morning. At night, though, and you've probably had this experience. Have you ever gone out and like played a sport, maybe a game of volleyball with some friends, or you just go and exercise, and then you're wired and you don't sleep? I don't know if you've ever had that experience. I have.
Yeah, I've had that experience. I don't remember, because I really do like to work out during the morning as well. Because for me, like, I just get caught up in things and then the day is gone and I haven't worked out, and I don't always feel like I want to work out. And I have less drive to have myself do it in the evening. So I'm definitely somebody who I want to do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, me too. I don't relate very well. But for those of you listening who choose to work out at night, I highly encourage you for 90 days, with almost all health challenges, by the way, health changes you make in your life, give all of them 90 days.
So why 90 days? Is this 90 days to create a new habit kind of thing?
You know, a lot of health changes are negative before they're positive. For example, some people, when they start eating 5 to 9 servings of fruits and veggies per day, actually have maybe constipation or the reverse, a little bit of diarrhea effect, right? They maybe even get headaches. Some people quit soda and get migraine headaches. So in the early stages, we can actually have a negative. And then over time, by giving it 90 days, we get a chance to really immerse ourselves in it. We get to experiment. For example, let's say it is the habit of eating 5 to 9 servings of fruits and veggies per day. We get to go to the grocery store and try some new things. We get to experiment with the ratio between fruits and vegetables. And by 90 days, we have given it enough effort and time to have dialed it in, to know what really works for ourselves, and to have ingrained it as a habit. And so I think anything less is just giving ourselves short shrift. We're just not giving it enough of a chance to know how good it really is.
I want to talk to you about this idea of building the habit, right? Because I'm a believer that habit can go away like that, right? Is all of a sudden you get sick, you were in good eating habits and good exercise habits, and then it's gone. Or something changes in your kid's schedule and then it's gone. I believe that the next level above habits, right? We're working to create good habits, but then we want to make them rituals. We want to put them to a place where we own it at a higher level, that no matter what happens, that we are committed and we have decided that this is part of who we are. You know, maybe this is a big question, but how do we get to that place? How do people get from a place of, I have to do this, I should do this, and they're doing it just because it's a should in their mind and not because this is a must for me?
I think it starts with their why. I think too many people come across a friend who lost 20 pounds. They go, hey, you look terrific. You lost some weight. And they go, yeah, I did keto. They go, cool, I think I'll do keto. That's all fine. The problem with it is How about if it wasn't just a motivator because you ran into a friend who lost some weight? What if you sit down and go, why did it motivate me when I saw Carol who'd lost 20 pounds? Why did it make me want to do the same diet that she did? What is it I want from my health? In my coaching transformation program, the first thing we start with is what's called the 5 whys.
Mm-hmm.
And we have people say, I ask them, why are you taking this program? And a lot of them say things like, to lose weight. That's fine. Why do you want to lose weight? Well, because I want to look better. Wonderful. Why do you want to look better? Well, because when I look in the mirror, I don't like what I see. Why do you not like what you see when you look in the mirror? And some people go, my husband hasn't looked at me the same since I had our 3rd child, and I've not been able to get rid of the baby weight. And I want to have the same relationship we had before I had kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when she says that, all of a sudden it's more meaningful. And she realizes, oh, I want to do this for me and for him. And all of a sudden we've hit pay dirt.
Right. Something that connects them more to what it is their goal is going to give them after that.
Yeah. So dig deep. Ask the question why 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't judge yourself. The fact is, you wouldn't be human if part of that wasn't, I want to look good. What is wrong with that? Of course, part of fitness is looking our best. And so when we get unfit, it's perfectly normal to look in the mirror and go, I don't really like what I see. Now, there's a fine line between body shaming when other people do it, but we can body shame ourselves too, right? And so it's not about looking like an Instagram influencer, right? It's looking our best given what we've been through in life, right? And it's going to change over time. And so it's just being our best at whatever age we're at and what our goals are and what really matters to us.
Right. And what makes us feel good, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there was a great saying that Tony Robbins used, which was just something that sticks in my head when I think about what I eat. And he said that nothing tastes as good as thin feels. Like it's a feeling. It's not just how you look. It's you have more energy. You feel good in how you hold yourself. It gives you more confidence. So I think that there's so much that goes along with not weight, but health. When we're focused on our health and we're, like you said, getting rid of the toxins and creating more energy for ourselves, then everything is uplifted.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have to also accept our genetics. There are people that are never going to have 6-pack abs because they're not genetically designed to have it. But guess what? Once you're past 30, if you're still caring about 6-pack abs, that may be beyond trying to look good and getting a little too into the vanity side of things. Like we know that we can have a little extra weight on us and still be very, very fit and reach our goals and still have a piece of pizza on a Friday night if we like. It depends again on you and your goals, just how strict you want to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this is awesome. We're coming sort of to the end of our time. What else do you think is really important for people to know and to get to that core place of making a decision that their health is important? Because, we tend to put our health last, right? It's the first thing that we give up is we'll say, we'll sleep when we're dead, right? Entrepreneurs, especially, I don't need so much sleep. I don't just grab this Snickers or whatever fast food is there. And, it's all get back to work. So maybe there's something that you can share with us around that and creating that space also to have extra space to be more productive.
Yeah. And it's probably a similar answer for me as to the 5 whys of health. You do a podcast here for business people, and I'd ask them the same thing. Why are you doing your business? Is your business running you, or are you running your business? I take every Friday off. I have for years. I've got a group of friends. I love to golf, and we golf every Friday. And my business doesn't get in the way of that. Yeah, I'll check my email. Of course, I'll take a phone call or whatever, but I don't miss golf on a Friday, right? And that's
because there's some benefits to be an entrepreneur, right?
That's right. That's right. But too many people, like what you said, they let their fitness, like, why? Why would you do that? Why are you in business? To make money. Why are you trying to make money? To have a great life. What does a great life mean? What does a great life mean when you're 60 and when you're 70? And if you've squandered your health, it's not going to be great. I don't care how much money you have.
No, and a lot of people are working so that they can have a better lifestyle someday. Why not start now? Right.
This thing about the 2 hours is huge. I promise you, in 2015, we took our family to Europe for 90 days. For 90 days, I worked part-time and our business grew. It can absolutely be done. The problem is it's mindset. I'll tell you part of it. I know you're running out of time. So one last thought I'll try to squeeze in.
Please.
We have a feeling inside of us almost always that we should be doing something. And it is a lie. It is a lie. This whole thing about human beings and human doings, that feeling, this is one of the reasons I meditate, because I'm an A personality, just like most people probably listening. I'm a go-getter. I like work. I could easily be a workaholic. I have to control it. And so through my meditation and mindfulness, that's the practice that has helped me to be able to step back and recognize these emotions for what they are. They are lies. There's times that we just need to enjoy time with our family and not be thinking about checking our email, not be staring at our phone, and not be worried about what's going to happen. What's going to happen is going to happen whether we worry about it or not. And so we have to kind of overcome that feeling that we got to be doing something all the time and control it and control our time so that we're doing the right things at the right time and not doing the wrong things at the right time, or however you say that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if we just focus on those two most important things, right, and spend 2 hours a day really thinking and acting and operating strategically, that is going to make all the difference. And when we focus on our health, then we're going to have more time and energy for the things that are most important.
Yeah. It's Stephen R. Covey's sharpen the saw, right? Yeah. When you're exercising, you're sharpening your personal saw. And so you become a better business person because your mind is sharper. You think better, you act better, you have the energy to get out and do the things. When you do have to do a long day, and we all sometimes do, you're able to do it because you have the fitness for it.
Right. Awesome. Well, tell us about, I think you mentioned that you have some kind of a program. Just tell people where they can go to find out more about you and more about the program that you're offering.
Wonderful. Dirobi.com, dirobi.com. That transformation journey, we open it 3 times a year. It's closed right now, but there's a place you can enter your email if you're interested. It's not very expensive. We actually offer it free to our customers who buy our products on an auto ship. So anyone who's on an auto ship of our products, we just invite them in. And on the resources page I mentioned earlier, there's several great resources. We touched on some fitness things here, but I've got a 10-page ebook called The Dirobi Undiet, which I'd highly recommend. And that's a result of my years of experience in the fitness industry, along with my certification in nutrition, and taking and distilling down the absolute best, most important 7 habits. They're quite easy to do. I think many people will find them refreshing because there's no calorie counting, there's no food weighing. It's very, very simple, something that any busy person can easily fit in, but achieve great health. So that resources page, I highly recommend.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Before we end, I just want to know what inspired you to bring those two worlds together, right? Because it's very often that people are separate in their approach, and they're either in fitness or they're in nutrition. What motivated you to bring them together?
Well, I come from the fitness side. I was a high school athlete and I've loved athletics all of my life. I've done a lot of competitions and a variety of different things, and I find real fulfillment and joy in that. And nutrition always came second. It was getting into the health industry in 2009 where I finally started to realize from the experts that nutrition comes first. And I had to personally realize that hitting the gym is not the answer to longevity and endurance and lifelong fitness, but hitting the kitchen properly is more important. So it was a personal progress for me because I have a sweet tooth. If left to my own devices, I would eat poorly. And so it's had to be a real focus. I've really had to work on it to make nutrition as important as it is. Very, very important. What we put into our mouth is more important than what we do in the gym. And so for me, it was growing up from being an athlete to being a holistic fitness and nutrition minded person.
Fantastic. That's super powerful. I'm glad I asked you that because I think that's probably the best lesson for everybody who's listening, that's nutrition first. That's, because I do think that there is that myth that I can just exercise enough that I can eat really, really poorly and get away from it. But that doesn't.
You can't.
You can't. Right.
I don't know. You can see the rowing machine behind me. That's kind of one of my primary exercises I do. If I work my butt off on that rowing machine to where I want to curl up like a baby and cry on the floor after a hard workout, that's burning 300 calories. Okay. That's 2 Dr. Peppers that I could drink.
Right.
Okay. You can work your butt off and you cannot overcome a bad diet. No matter how hard you work, you're only going to burn a few hundred calories a day through exercise. And then you destroy it with just a couple of bad choices. And so great abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym.
That's a great one. I love it. I'm writing that down.
I wish I could take credit for that. Oh, everything I've said, I've stolen from someone. I'm not a very creative person, but I can read like anyone else.
Well, that's fantastic. I don't think that matters. I mean, I think nothing is new. We have our twist on it, right? And in the way that you express it may be different than the way someone else expresses it. I always say that if I had an original quote or something, I don't care if somebody takes it. It's more important that the impact is made. So, it's a great saying, and it helps people just to understand quickly what it's all about. Start with the kitchen.
Yeah. And I'd love for people to download that book. Like I say, you don't even have to enter your email. This is not, I'm not trying to capture people or anything like that. I just give that stuff away free on the website. I'm trying to help people be more healthy. And so we've had 20 minutes here, but the fact is, it's going to take effort, obviously. If you want to change your lifestyle and work fitness in and nutrition, be willing to put in that effort. Like I said, give it the 90 days I mentioned earlier. Why not go through that 5 why process, figure out what it is for you, and give it 90 days and try something new.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you.
And there you guys have it. You have a challenge in front of you. Do it for 90 days. And you know what? If you're not willing to commit just yet to 90 days, do it for 7 days and then add another 7 days and just ease your way into it if that's going to work better for you. But you are going to see a difference. And just remember what Dave said is it might get a little harder before it gets easier. And that's just part of anything as we're working through it and getting used to a new way of doing things. But that's your challenge. And I'd love to hear from you after you've started this challenge, how you're feeling, what you're taking away. And I'm sure you go over to Dave's website and check out the resources there. I'm sure they're incredible. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for your dedication to the show. Make sure that you subscribe and share this show with your friends and colleagues, because we cover lots of different topics, whether it be health and wellness or whether it be specifically business related, time management, mindset, resilience, all of those things that come into helping you to work smarter and live smarter. Thanks for being here. My name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time. We'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.